So the next step, we're going to put these flywheel or flex plate bolts back to the torque converter. And the important thing is to realize the one that is beveled right there, and that centers the flex plate on the torque converter. These other 5 right here are not. So you want to put the one that's beveled first to center the flex plate. So that's the one on the right here. All right, so here's a look at the flex plate. What I did, I just finger tightened the one on the left, which is the one that's beveled, that's going to center it, and the one on the right, I finger tightened it even less. First, I rotated the crank until the holes lined up with the flex plate and the torque converter, and then from there, I just was able to finger tighten those in. So, what I'm going to do now is just torque these to 30 foot-pounds. I'm not going to take a video of it because it's pretty self-explanatory. I will just take the torque wrench and stick it up here and show you what it's going to look like. We're going to put a short extension on it, like so. Ideally, really like 2 inches. This 3 may be too much, sort of at an angle, but yeah, 1 to 2 inches would probably be perfect. Anyway, I'm going to get to tighten these up to 30 foot-pounds. So you're going to have a breaker bar with a 19mm socket on the crank, and you're going to have to hold both at the same time, or have some help, have someone put some pressure on the crank going in the opposite direction. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to rotate the engine just back just a hair, or actually rotate it all the way around again, actually. What I'm going to do is keep putting these in one at a time. And then what I'm going to do is when I get back around to the first one, I'm going to tighten it with the torque wrench, which is the one that's got the beveled end on it. Real quick, I got all those finger tight, and then I rotated back around and got this thing positioned, or the one that's beveled, I got it positioned where I can get my socket wrench up there, because the oil pan's beveled, and if it's a little closer to the driver's side, it allows me to get on it more square. So anyway, now I'm going to tighten that one first. All right, we're going to go ahead and get started on getting the starter installed, which hopefully is a pretty simple process. There's 2 14mm bolts, and they're going to be torqued to 28 foot-pounds. Take it over. But I want to point out there's a little bracket that goes on the engine wiring harness. I pointed out and then install, so make sure you get it on here, or else you'll have to undo this bolt and redo that part. All right, I'm gonna get this impact driver on here and get this bottom screw kind of started. It's going in smoothly. You don't want to, if you feel some resistance, then you're gonna have to readjust until it's running in smooth. Okay. It'll allow me to drop that down. It should have allowed me to get on this top one here and get it in. All right, we're gonna come in the top here with the 14mm ratchet. All right, now we're going to get up with the torque wrench and torque it to 28 foot-pounds. All right, that's the top one. Go in from the bottom with a 6-inch extension, just like when we installed this thing. It's hard for me to get in here with the obstructing view, but you get the general idea. You could actually get with a 4-inch extension, would be a little bit better angle. There we go. Next thing we want to do is get the starter grounding wire, or power wire actually, back on here. Just put that snug right there. Put this connector clip back in. Hear it snap. And that's that. All right, next we're going to get the starter grounding wire right here attached to the block here. It's being really difficult as far as getting started. I got lucky that time. All right, and we're just going to cinch that down snug. MSB. A 14mm. Go in here with the socket wrench. Probably a lot better thing you can use than the two I'm trying. And I'm just going to put it snug. There we go. All right, we're back on the back side of the transmission with the engine wiring harness. So we're just going to plug in a couple clips here. They're pretty self-explanatory. Easier to get off than on. It's really hard to show these and hold the camera at the same time. And there's one bracket, plastic bracket there. I'll either have to just tape it up or I'll try to order another one. One more bracket I took off and it's right there, and there's a little 10mm bolt. Not gonna show me putting it back on. You just screw it back in, snug. All right, next we're gonna put the oil bracket on. There was a little gasket back here I replaced. Pretty easy. Put a bolt on the bottom. Or a nut on the bottom, and 2 bolts on the top. Get these kind of snug. This only goes to 21 foot-pounds here, so not much torque on them. Adjusted my torque wrench to 21 foot-pounds. Put this little extension on. I'm on 21 here. Do that much. All right, I'm gonna call that good. Last thing, I never tightened up this 22mm bolt right here. Took it out of curiosity. Never really understood what that bolt function is. We don't know the torque to put on this thing. This is easy to get to. I'm just gonna leave it at that. If it leaks, I'll take it out and fix it. Whatever crush washer or gasket might be there. Anyway, so that's that. Got the oil filter housing on there.